Hello and welcome back to the Project Hercules Diaries. All about the gearbox today. So this is the drawing of the gearbox in the shed that Mr. Bob did, and behind me on the Churchill lathe we've just taken the gearbox housing inside diameter to the right diameter. So we've now got clearance for all of the parts inside the gearbox. That's on the Churchill lathe behind me, which is right here, the largest cotton reel in the world. So the inside diameter of that is now correct. We might take a tiny bit off the outside diameter of that, and then we'll put it in a faceplate just to thin down this shoulder and that shoulder. It's very imperative that these two faces are absolutely in the same plane, so rather than use a forge ore, we're going to put it onto a faceplate next, and that will complete the outer casing of the gearbox. The only thing remaining would be to drill some holes through here, because that's where the gearbox gets bolted into the frame, but that's a job for much later on. After that will be a case of machining up the side plates where the bearings go, and the side plates are untouched at the moment. They're still, as we purchase them, slices of aluminium bar on the floor behind me. There we go, Exhibit B, my lord, aluminium slices. So they will be up next to make the two side plates, and the idea is that the side plates will be able to be bolted to the gearbox with the gearbox still in the frame. So if we need to make anything, repair anything, or adjust anything in the gearbox doesn't have to come out of the frame. You can take one of the side plates off or the other side plate off and move out the whole mechanism from inside the gearbox. The shaft that goes through the centre of the gearbox that Matt's going to make the slip line for, that is on the South Bend lathe, which is over there. Just as a refresher, this is the main shaft at the centre, and it has a hole all the way through it. So it's quite a long shaft. This is a full-size drawing. If you recall, the shaft has a push rod that goes all the way through to depress the clutch plates, as is standard on many motorcycles, many motorbike gearboxes. So the clutch cable will operate this arm coming out of the page towards us. That will twist a kind of worm mechanism that pushes the push rod in to open the clutch plates. So that means that there's a hole all the way through that long shaft, and that's what I've been doing in the last few minutes on the South Bend. So here is the South Bend lathe, and this is that quite long shaft. You can only see half of it. The other half of it is in the tailstock, headstock end of the lathe. So it's quite a long hole that needs to be drilled. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. So that's quite a large drill. That isn't quite long enough to go all the way through, so I am going to have to turn it around and drill from the other side. But what I want to do is make sure that I get that hole in first, because if there's any problems with that, it would spoil and stop the whole job, or certainly this particular part of the job. So I wanted to make sure the hole goes all the way through first. Then I can put this between centres, and I can turn down the two outside edges, make the centre the final diameter, screw cut the threads on the end, and give it to Matt to make a spline. Sounds easy when you say it fast. But yeah, there's quite a bit of progress on the gearbox, so I'm quite pleased with that today, how it's gone. Last time I did an update, we were swapping the engines over, so this is the real engine with all the machined internals now, which has been bolted to the plate, this angle plate on the table here. Now this engine case closest to us has been drilled and tapped, and that means we can take the other engine case, the other half of the engine case, away that side, so we can lift off the barrel, we can take away the other engine case, and that means that it's then ready, supported, to do things like Loctite in the bearings, fit the circlips, and build the engine in earnest, which includes putting the big end into it. So it's really starting to get quite exciting now, because a few things are coming together. I have booked the frame in to take back to Raw Steel Choppers in the end of May. So String's agreed to have a go at making the aluminium fuel tank, and I need to make a better cardboard model for then. So there's still a lot to do, but it's really good progress. So I think that deserves a drink. I'm sure you will agree. So it's probably that time of the bank holiday weekend. So if you're on your bank holiday, have a great weekend. Enjoy May. Spring is almost here, although it's been raining all day. As usual, thank you for watching, and more updates will follow.